it is the beginning of another working week wherever you are joining us from around the world. This is Sports Africa, the biggest football show on social media, online, wherever you want to call it. My name is Ashalolu Afemi. Of course, if you are just watching for the first time, that is my name. Of course, if you've always been here, I have the two best analysts with me, James Agberebi and Kado Gundari. Guys, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you, Femi. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much, Femi. Happy to be in today's edition.
All right. Okay. So on Sports Africa, of course, the continent is our courtyard. So we score through to bring you the best footballing and sports stories as they break. Now, let's get you through our routine on the show. Of course, first of all, we take you through the Continental Roundup. Then we go to the talking point where we'll discuss the issues of the day. Then we go to our stars in diaspora. Today we'll be going to Ghana. And of course, we'll be going to Sierra Leone. And lastly, we'll be reviewing big matches over the weekend. Remember, last Friday we took you to Nigeria, and today we'll be reviewing the outcome of those two games because they have massive impact on the top flight in Nigeria. Once again, we welcome you to Sports Africa. Of course, it is 47 days to the kickoff of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. And please, we urge you to please subscribe to our channel because that is a month and about 17 days to the kickoff. And we told you that we'll be taking you through the journey. We'll be walking you through the journey to each of the 24 teams, their preparations by the middle of next month. Of course, we know that countries will have released their list for the competition because, of course, CAF, they have a window through which all the participating teams must release all the 23 lists or 25 lists, whatever the case would be this time. Once again, we welcome you to the biggest football show online. Now, let's quickly go on this break. When we return, we'll be going through straight to the Continental Roundup. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Sports Africa. Okay, now, during the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers between Congo Brazzaville and Zambia, something very strange happened. And two players have retired abruptly from the national team because the national team of Congo Brazzaville arrived for their game against Zambia a few hours to the encounter. And that left this state in the mouth of two key players who have, of course, retired from the national team. We'll be looking at it if you think they are patriotic enough or if it is a call, if it is something that they should have, of course, maybe sit down with their FA and, of course, discuss. And today we'll be going to Ghana. Now, Kwesi Appiah, the former Black Stars coach, is doing wonders with the Sudanese national team. They have 4 points, the same number of points with Senegal in the two matches that have been played in the qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. And here are the Black Stars struggling to get results with maybe a foreign coach, an expatriate, whatever you want to call it, and the person of Chris Otin. Now, is it that the Black Stars or Ghana do not trust their very own? We'll be looking at those two items when we return. Then we'll move straight to the talking point. Please stay with us. Yeah, once again, welcome back to the show. Now, let's get straight to it because we told you there is this guy, Antoine Makoumbou, is the second player to have called it quits with the Congo Brazzaville national team. We just told you that the national team, they arrived for their game against Zambia. That game ended 4-2. Remember, Zambia is currently being coached by former Black Stars coach as well. I don't know why Black Stars are just surfacing on the show today. I'm talking about Avram Grant. They are one of the resurging teams on the continent of Africa in football. Now, Antoine Makoumbou is the second player to have called it quits with the Congo Brazzaville national team. Of course, he played for Cagliari in the Serie A, a big star, so to say. And that is because he is the second player to have taken such a decision. Now, James, I'll start with you. Now, what kind of feeling does it leave with players when a national team arrives just a few hours for a key game like World Cup qualifiers? I think because these players, they just felt that the FA, in fact, that is even the crux of the matter. They felt the FA isn't serious enough because they felt that why should they arrive just a few hours to the game? And eventually they even put in their best. They lost 4-2, not even so scandalous. But this guy, and of course, he's the second player to have called it quit with the national team now because they felt that it simply means that the FA isn't serious after all. So why should they have to risk their life all the way from Europe to come and represent the country? And this is what they meet on ground.
Well, this is the anyhowness we used to talk about the way Africa football is being run. I think the last time DRC, back then when they were Zaire, when they qualified for the World Cup of 1974 in West Germany. So at least you want to think of, for a team that have been to the World Cup before, I mean, you put in every effort, but still come back to the anyhowness. I mean, you have a very key World Cup qualifiers. You have all the every plan, rolled out. At the end of the day, you still got there few hours to the game. I mean, I had the opportunity. I just quickly checked the background of this guy who just would like to retire now from the national team, and he was born in France. So that the mentality is different. There's somebody who knows what it means to prepare for key games. The World Cup qualifier at that. As if you are going for a friendly game, a World Cup qualifier. So I mean, you can't keep asking these guys, these foreign-born players, to come over and play for you, and at the end of the day, you don't do the needful. You don't do. You are not professional about the way you go about it. If it's not about owing players, it's about poor training equipment and all those things. So I mean, I won't blame him. I mean, these guys find at the end of the day, they say, okay, they want to come and play for Africa. They know what happens here back home. They read a lot about poor administration here in Africa. So most of them will find you say, okay, because they didn't have the opportunity of playing for their first choice, by the end of the day, at least it's still okay. Let them come back and play for the country of their parents. But I mean, all these issues, off-field issues, keep affecting them. So for how long are you going to continue like this? So it's not every player that was going to sit back and endure all this. I remember there was a time when the Ghanaian player who played in the 2006 World Cup, I can't remember his name again. He was in one of these programs in South Africa, and he said one of the biggest things that got him irritated was the lateness to training by the Black Stars player when he was it 2020? Yeah, it was 2026. He said the mentality of always coming to training late.
2006.
2000. He was part of he's German born, but he played for the Black Stars. So he said, I mean, they get to training later. He said he got to training. He was the first person to get there. It was is it that they've called off the training before he now saw people coming in very late? So this our, like I said, our anyhowness is cut across, and it's something so terrible. We have the talent, but when you don't put certain things in place, you don't take care of certain things. I mean, I don't see us Africans. I don't see us going far. So it's not enough to have the talent, but when off-field issues are not being taken care of, I mean, you never get anywhere.
Okay, it is not like doing a very bad PR for the continent, but it is more like the virus that has eaten deep into how we do things right there. And I think James put it the right way. Let's talk about the Black Stars of Ghana. Of course, I remember that, of course, how things panned out in their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Of course, they managed to defeat Madagascar 1-0. Then against Comoros, we knew what happened once again. Even before then, there has been, the call to sack Kwesi. But here is Kwesi Appiah, of course, who has taken the Black Stars to the World Cup before, doing wonders with Sudan. You can't even compare the talent in Sudan. Apologies to Sudan, but you can't compare the talent in the national team to that of Ghana. Here is Ghana struggling with an expatriate, so to say, expatriate in quote now. Though we know that Kwesi has a Ghanaian root, but of course, he will be regarded as an expatriate. So, an indigenous coach doing well with the Sudanese national team. They currently have 4 points with Senegal on the table in the 2 games for the 2022 qualifier that have been played so far. They've not lost any game. Is it that here in this part of Africa, in the sub-Saharan part of Africa, we do not trust our own enough? Remember what the Super Eagles of Nigeria are also currently going through. Is it that we do not trust our own enough? Is it that, I don't know, we are just so into these West-kin people that we believe they are just the best?
No, I don't think that is correct, Femi. What I think is that, you see, talent, like you said, talent can only take you so far. The organization and discipline will take you further. The fact that the Ghanaian work environment, the fact that the Nigerian work environment is so permissive tells you a lot. And the same with the Congolese, that some of these players are revolting. Some of them, apart from being born in Europe, some of them have played professionally in Europe for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So they know how things are done. So when they come around and they see, for Canada, Femi, these draws were released like almost a year ago. You knew you were going to play these games. How more do we have to keep saying this, Femi? We are beginning to sound like a broken record. You know, like, it's not like they told you yesterday that you're going to play today. No, you knew a long time ago. What happened to having a plan on ground? If you cannot plan for a game during the qualifiers, how do we expect you? How do we trust you to plan for a World Cup campaign, Femi? Okay, when you go to the World Cup, let me tell you something. When you go to the World Cup, FIFA has everything planned to the minute. They will tell you you are entitled to train on this page for 55 minutes. I tell you, Femi, you dare not spend more than 55 minutes. So if you decide not to come in the first 45 minutes, you have that
it's your problem.
It's your problem. So when we have administrators who are like these, who have refused, they still have this 1950 mindsets. It's so unfortunate. So I do appreciate, I sympathize with the players who are dropping out of the team, that, you know what, we can do without being national team players. If this is what you're going to do, a day to the game, 2 days to the game, you are getting. If you decide deliberately to go to a game, 2 days to the game, we understand. Not that you are battling logistics to get to the game, 3 hours to the game. It doesn't work that way. Even for a club engagement, it shouldn't be, let alone a national team game, Femi. It's so sad, honestly.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think about the Black Star situation?
Yeah, the thing again goes to the work environment, this discipline in the work environment, Femi. Kwesi Appiah take this Ghana team, and they will still struggle. You understand? It's not it's tempting for me to think, why don't you give Kwesi Appiah the job? They could give him the job, and they're going to struggle. There are 2 things I think that are fundamentally wrong with the Ghana team, for me. I've seen them play the 2 games so far, the 2 World Cup games. I've seen them. In fact, their worst performance, if you thought they were not too good at the last half, Confirming, the last game against Comoros, you would be shocked by the shocking performance. You understand? So for me, it is not about what the coach is. The coach has his own problem, of course. But then, I mean, this goes back to what we've been saying. When you publicly bring down your coach, you tell the whole country that your coach was not good enough. Of course, you could have gotten rid of him. Nobody's asking you not to. If you know you can pay the fines, get rid of him, pay him off, let him go. You shouldn't wait until this time. It is a culture of the work environment that is wrong with Ghana, with Nigeria, with Congo, and all of these African countries. If you think your coach is not doing well, cut him loose, let him go, get somebody else. But it's not a done deal that if Kwesi Appiah were to be the one handling the Ghana team, that they would have fared better. I will argue that with anybody.
Okay. But what always baffles me really is that if we appear not to be able to think for ourselves, we see examples of how things are done in Europe, but we find it difficult to copy some of these things. Where that is going to be another discussion for another day. Let's go on this very break. When we return, we'll be discussing our stars in diaspora. Like I told you, we'll be going to Ghana once again and Sierra Leone today. We'll see you on the flip side. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Sport Africa. Of course, the best place to get the biggest footballing and sports stories on the continent. Now, please, like I told you, subscribe to our channel. Please tell someone to tell someone. If you knew someone on the Diaspora Fans Forum who hasn't subscribed to this channel yet, please tell them. that the journey to the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations is about to begin like they've never seen before. Kayode and James, who of course will be here to take you through that journey once again, like we did in the build up to the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Remember the countdown, we had a wonderful journey together. We're about to go on that same journey once again, like you never seen before. Now, let's go to Stars in Diaspora. Today, we'll be talking about Mama Kudus. He left Ajax, and it seems like the whole club, the whole team, I should say, collapsed apparently. I remember, of course, I know some of our fans are familiar with what happened to Ajax or what they're still going through. But since he joined West Ham, he struggled to find his footing in the first team. But since he has done that, it's been key for them. Over the weekend, though he considered a very cheap penalty in the 2-1 win over Burnley, then the last minute provided an assist that got them the win. James, I'm sure you're familiar with this. He is one of our stars in diaspora today because at 23, this guy is doing things that I would say are well above his age.
Yes, a good one for Mohamed Kudus. And I would say kudos to David Moyes. Because we see many top players who, when they go, actually when they leave a certain league and join a Premier League team, they tend to struggle a lot. We've seen that the likes of Andriy Shevchenko struggled, and top players. What is this called? Quaresma. The guy, they came to the Premier League and they couldn't find their footing. So Kudus, I think what Moyes did was to gradually introduce him to the Premier League.
Into the
he
team,
was coming from the bench and he was warming into the league, and he has kind of exploded. And the good thing again, he was the man of the match, West Ham's man of the match, and also he made the Premier League team of Garth Crooks, an English football legend. So it's Premier League team of the week. Kudus, he included Kudus into it. So it goes to show that Kudus has warmed into the league. He has found his footing, and he's one key player for West Ham United. So
James, James, hold on. You have forgotten to mention what he did to Arsenal in the FL Cup. I will remind you of that.
So the good thing is the guy has found his footing, and that will show you the kind of quality player he is. That West Ham didn't make any mistake signing him from Ajax. So it can only get better. It can only keep improving, and this is just the tip of the iceberg that we are seeing of Mohamed Kudus. And they don't be surprised, Femi, with the way it's going. I don't. If he continues playing like this, I think at the end of the day, he's only going to spend one season at West Ham. I'm telling the big boys are going to come knocking. They're going to come with big cash, and I mean, like you said, football is big business. You want the good cash comes in. I'm telling you, West Ham is going to leave West Ham. I'm telling you that's the thing about.
Okay. All right, Kyle, let's talk about. Last Friday we talked about Asamoah, what he's doing in Ghana. I remember he flew 50 surgeons from Germany to Ghana to operate on 50 children who had holes in their hearts. And of course, remember, we talked very kindly of him for giving these children opportunity to live once again. Over the weekend, I tried to see other players who have been doing such a thing. And I remember on the show, I mentioned Antonio Rudiger. And I realized that he has, he's been doing something wonderful on the continent for some time now for children in Sierra Leone. And now he regards Sierra Leone, I should say, as his second home. And in 2020, he donated $101,000 to support free quality education for children. And during the 2022 FIFA World Cup, he donated all his World Cup allowance to children, to support this same cause. He has a foundation, Antonio Rudiger Foundation, for Sierra Leone. I think he deserves some mention on the show today, Kyle.
Yeah, I remember talking about him, although briefly in passing last week. We were having that discussion on last episode. I said he's one of the guys who, he's not my favorite player, but if he's doing something good, I don't just
like United player.
No, I don't. No, of course there are other players who everybody cannot play for United. It's not just my kind of player, but you cannot take away the fact that he's doing something great off the pitch, and for me that covers whatever it is I think is lacking on the pitch. It's a good thing, even though some of these basket cases where Africa is seen like the pathetic sorry case, kind of as a way of pouring water in my heart. But then when you see those who are not obliged to do any of these things, but who take it upon themselves to do it anyway, it gives me a thing of, it's a thing of joy for me that, okay, you don't have to do this, but you are doing it. Then I want to say kudos to you. Yeah, he's doing it. A lot of other players are doing it. And then apart from the ones who have publicly disclosed what they are doing, there are 1,001 others who are really, really not into making use of it. When you talk about him, you talk about Gerard Asamoah. You also have to not forget about Odion Igalo, who has an orphanage in Nigeria.
Yeah, in Nigeria, of course.
He has an orphanage for orphans,
for women and children.
Yeah, so for me, there are a lot of people who are doing this. Some are not, some are not. Like I said, I know of Akim Olajuwon in Houston, in America. He's doing it. He's doing it for some communities in Nigeria, but he's not the kind of person who makes media noise about whatever he is doing. Very, very intensely private person. There are lots of other people. Whenever we come across some of these cases, Femi, we should help to project them, because what they are doing might also inspire other people to also want to do. Life goes beyond just buying the shoes, the Gucci, the Balenciagas and everything. Sometimes after those shoes have gone out of fashion, what people will remember is how you helped humanity, how you helped them feel better. That's what we should be looking at, because at the end of the day, that is what joins all of us together, regardless of wherever you come from.
All right, well said, Kayode. Let's go on this break. When we return, we'll be reviewing our big matches over the weekend. Like I told you, last Friday we went to Nigeria, and the top 4 teams were involved over the weekend, and it was a sweet story for some. For some, it wasn't. But we'll be telling you more of those. I wouldn't want to let the cat out of the bag. We'll see you on the flip side. All right, welcome back. Of course, we are on the final lap of the show today. Please don't forget to subscribe to Sport Africa. Let's go to Nigeria Professional Football League now. Like we told you, the 2023-2024 season is in top flight. And on March day 10, it was such drama in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Kyle, do you remember we talked about this thing? When I saw the result yesterday, you were the first person that came to my mind when I saw that sadly Shooting Stars lost at the Lafia Township Stadium to Lobby Stars. Where does that leave Shooting? And what do you think about the result being your hometown club?
Femi, I think this club, this is their best start in decades. Their best start to a season in decades. So this is a team I am immensely proud of. Again, like I said, they are a team that is very, very difficult to beat. They lost to a last-minute penalty. It was 1-1 up till the last few minutes of the game. Unfortunately, they lost to a penalty, which happens
penalty.
Yeah, which happens in football. I'm not going to dispute the penalty. It is part of football, but they have shown that they are a team that are going to be very, very difficult to beat. Don't forget, they are still missing their captain, who is serving a 2-match suspension. Fortunately, that was on Sunday was the last of those 2 games. Now they expect him to get back into the team for their next game against Atlant. So for me, I like the way so far so good. The league itself has been without controversy so far. Although I expect that to change as things get more intense, but let me not deceive you. I've been very, very impressed. So far, these 3 teams, actually the 4 teams, Doma were able to hold Remo Stars to a 0-0 draw. That was a very, very inspiring result. Shooting Stars lost to Lobby Stars, but they're still in 3rd position. Lobby Stars are now 1st in the league, but let's not deceive ourselves. These are very, very good teams. We are not even talking about the traditional heavy lifters. We're not talking about canopilas. We're not talking about Enyimba yet, although Enyimba are coming up. We're not talking
You guys should
about,
watch your back.
yeah,
Watch your back.
yeah,
Enyimba
we're
is
not
close.
talking about Rangers for now. But I expect things to change. I expect the complexion of the league table to change. Of course, you see the league table on the screen now. I expect it to change as things get more intense. But for me, the good thing is, if you have had a good run so far, what that means is your team is gelling nicely together, and you could just wait, you could just sit it out, and at the end of the day, before you know it, before other teams get wiser, those front runners will just run away with the league.
Okay, James, Raymond, they were held to a draw by Doma. To you, was that a surprise? Or, of course, Doma were topping the table before the game. Now we have Lobby at the top of the table.
Yes, Femi. I think the result, I think it's a fair result for the two teams. Remo have been doing so well this season. Doma too, they showed the reason why they've been topping the league at some point. And Femi, the draw, the nil-nil draw, that was Doma's 6 straight clean sheet. 6 straight clean sheet for Doma. And also, they've not lost in the last 6 games. 4 wins and 2 draws. That's to tell you that this team, they are not here to play around. It's a team that they're ready to mix it with the big boys. And like I said, it's not a surprise to me. I think it's the fair result for the two teams. And we hope that this keeps happening. Let's see exciting teams, giving us excitement in the league. Just like what I already said, we don't have the traditional teams. It's the I call them the small teams, and I'll take it over. So but the big teams are still looking around. So any slip up, the experience is always there for them to take over. So for me, a good one for especially Doma. Doma, they've shown us that this season, the main business, like the stars that I just roll out now. I mean, it's not by mistake. This is a team. I mean, 6 clean sheets in the Nigerian Premier League. It's not
midfield
at all. A game that they heck out 1-0 victory. The one that they couldn't score, you won't score them. So it's either they win or you settle for a draw. So a good one for them. Let's see how far they can go. And I'm looking at this team like a team that, if all things being equal and they don't run out of ideas or inexperience catch up with them, I see them picking one of the tickets for the continent. I'm not really them out. Whether everything is put in place for them.
I just hope that, like you said, they will maintain their consistency. I remember Ifeanyi Ubah, how that started, owned by a Nigerian politician, and now I don't even know whether they play in NLN or NLO. I don't even know which division they play in Nigerian top flight. So quickly on the table, of course, the table is on the screen. You have Lobby Stars topping, Doma United, Shooting Stars, and of course Remo just 3 points. 3 points behind Lobby at the top of the table. Guys, thank you so much for your incisive analysis on the show once again. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Femi. See you next time.
Thank you, Femi.
All right. So for our fans around the world, I hope you are gradually getting into the mood for the 2023 AFCON, because I tell you, here on Sports Africa, we are gradually entering into that as the season is changing. So we are right here on the show because, of course, when winter comes like this, dry season in this part of the world, we remember that AFCON is beckoning. So that's why we tell you, please tell someone to subscribe to this channel, because this is where you'll be getting the stories like you wouldn't on the mainstream media. And that is what we do right here. The biggest sports and footballing stories on the continent. This is where we bring them to the public court of opinion. And of course, we do it with you. Please, on the issues that we've discussed on the show, in the talking point, please let us know what you think, particularly about the Congo Brazzaville players who are leaving the national team because of poor preparation, like how they said, bad administration, and James, on the part of the FA. Let us know what you think regarding that. If the players should have maybe stuck with the team rather than thinking of what the FA is doing, let us know what you think in the comment section. We'll see you later in the week by the grace of God. And this is where we are pressing the tape on the show today. I remain Ashalulu FM. We'll see you all on Friday. Bye for now.